TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
Mission Digital Production Center on the Troy campus with news from Troy University locations around the world. This is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Nightly News for April 23rd, 2012. I'm Tiffany Lester.
And I'm Courtney Still. Thank you for joining us this evening. STEP shows are a common occurrence on college campuses, usually in the form of competitions between Greek organizations. But this past weekend, students showed off their fancy footwork as a way to honor the memory of a student who died from cancer. Deatra Montgomery has the story.
Of sneakers and buzzers usually fill the air of Sartain Hall. However, Saturday night, it sounded a little bit more like this. However, the sound of stepping was not from Greeks, but from the Tau Beta Sigma Band Sorority and Kappa Kappa Psi Band Fraternity, who were having their 11th annual Step for Life Step Show. The two organizations are able to come together in friendly competition in honor of former brother Stephen Dubar-Zinski.
The reason why we have this event is because one of our brothers died from leukemia, and he was in a band organization called Kappa Kappa Psi, a service organization. And in order for you to be in this organization, you have to be in the band. His brothers, line brothers and line sister, created this show right after his death. And so we have teams come all over from different schools to come perform and hang out with us.
Each fraternity and sorority has to pay a fee to participate in the annual event, with all proceeds going towards the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
The fee that we give them to pay to come step goes towards the Leukemia Lymphoma Society that we're raising money. We have raised over $1,000. So this is just a really good event for everyone to come out and have fun and be entertained.
Baker says seeing the crowd of people show up for the show was just as exciting as the step performances.
I am so excited. I'm glad this was a good turnout. It looks like we got more than last year, and we have more teams. We had 5 teams, and now we have 9. That is great.
This annual event allows the sorority and fraternity to come together to share a night of laughter, excitement, and most of all, unity. Deatra Montgomery, Troy TrojanVision News.
Money raised at Step for Life will go to Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Downtown Troy will turn into a place for artists to show off their wares this weekend as Troy Fest returns to the square. The annual event brings in artists from around the country displaying and selling their work. Troy Fest is officially this weekend, but organizers are going to get things kicked off tomorrow night with the opening of an exhibit in the Johnson Center for the Arts and a concert on the square. According to organizers, tomorrow night's events are just the beginning of a packed weekend on the square.
Town on the square, like you said, just right in the middle of all the action, and the merchants that are around the downtown square enjoy this weekend just as much as we do. We plop right in the middle of their area and just enjoy downtown Troy.
The opening reception for the new exhibit will be tomorrow at 4:30 in the Johnson Center. The concert by the Troy University Concert Bands will start at 6 on the square. And when it comes to beauty pageants around here, most people are used to seeing contestants in their teens and their 20s.
That's right. Well, Saturday night, 5 women showed that even someone a little bit older can get in on the fun. Christina Cook has the story.
On Saturday night, 5 senior women showed that beauty and poise not only remains with age, but also gets better with time.
This is our first Miss Pike County Senior Pageant. We had great talent by 5 outstanding women. It was such a nice evening, a nice crowd, just a wonderful gathering here this afternoon, so I really enjoyed it.
As each contestant put their best foot forward in each of the 4 categories, they provided the judges with the hard task of deciding who should be crowned Miss Senior Pike County.
It was kind of hard and difficult to come to a decision, but the results came in, and overall, I think all the ladies did a great job.
And one lady in particular showed the judges that she had what it took to be crowned Miss Senior Pike County and the many duties that come with the title.
Well, I'll be doing things around the county. Of course, I'll be doing a lot of things with seniors. Hope to be doing a lot in mentoring and volunteering with young people and showing them some things that many times that they don't understand and they don't do as young people. It will give me an opportunity. Also, I start getting ready to go to Miss Senior Alabama. We have a workshop on May 11th, so I have a lot of preparation ahead of me for that.
Although the contestants were a very important part of the pageant, it was also the behind-the-scenes help of the city of Troy and a few volunteers that made the event a reality.
Probably about September of 2011, we started planning, and that's when it's a long process because we were new and this is the first one, so we had a lot of things to go through and solicit, but it's turned out wonderful. We hope that it grows, and we hope that Miss Senior Alabama will go through and maybe start doing things in the community that we can go through and help support and go through and cater to our seniors and stuff with it.
Christina Cook, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Thrash will go on to compete in the Miss Senior Alabama pageant on June 9th in Hanceville.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Tuscaloosa County, sheriff's deputies have arrested a man on the county's most wanted list. 24-year-old Wesley James Watford was taken into custody by deputies acting on a tip at a business on Highway 69 south at Garden Lane. Watford was wanted for failure to appear in court on a charge of murder. 4 men, including Watford, were charged with the murder in the March 2009 death of 35-year-old Vincent Hunter. Hunter was found beaten and burned to death.
In Birmingham, a group of state lawmakers are expected to try to hammer out a compromise bill to address Jefferson County's rapidly worsening financial crisis. In November, the county filed the largest government bankruptcy case in U.S. history and is fast spending its cash reserves.
In Montgomery, communities across Alabama are planning events to mark the anniversary of the April 27th tornadoes that killed more than 250 people in the state. A statewide memorial service with Governor Robert Bentley and other leaders is being planned for the steps of the state capitol in the morning.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan softball team is looking to keep their winning streak going as they swept Middle Tennessee this past weekend here at home. Dustin Carroll will be in later with the details in sports.
But first, accused murderer George Zimmerman has been released on bail. We'll have that story and more when we return.
This massive earthquake has rocked the city. Worst natural disaster this region has ever witnessed.
When a disaster strikes, time is a killer. The UN Central Emergency Response Fund jumpstarts relief efforts, which saves lives. Help us help in time. Donate now at rapiddisasterrelief.org.
Over the course of time, Troy has consistently turned out quality graduates.
We're trying to develop future leaders.
If it had not been for Troy University, I would have never had the honor of being the Alabama Teacher of the Year.
We want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. And we do that within the framework of one real university.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we go to Tiffany Lester at the Global News Desk. Tiffany?
Thank you, Courtney. The neighborhood watch captain accused in the shooting death of an unarmed Florida teenager to death is out of jail. He was released on $150,000 bond pending his trial on second-degree murder charges. Randall Pinkston has the latest from Sanford, Florida.
George Zimmerman walked out of the Seminole County Jail around midnight, not looking at cameras as he followed a man into a white vehicle and drove away to await trial for the death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. His attorney says he will not reveal where Zimmerman will go because of safety concerns.
We have a lot of concerns over security, and it's wrapped around the family as well.
Zimmerman posted 10% of a $150,000 bail to get out of this jail. According to the terms of his release, he must comply with a dusk to dawn curfew and wear a GPS ankle bracelet to track his every movement.
I wanted to say I am sorry for the loss of your son.
In a dramatic gesture, Zimmerman took the witness stand to apologize to Martin's parents, a move their attorney denounced.
It was devastating that he got to give a self-serving apology to help him get a bond.
The 28-year-old volunteer night watchman claims he acted in self-defense in a confrontation with the unarmed black teenager in a gated community. The initial refusal of Seminole County authorities to arrest Zimmerman sparked racially charged protests which spread from Sanford throughout the nation. A special prosecutor appointed by Florida's governor took over the investigation and brought second-degree murder charges against Zimmerman. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Sanford, Florida.
And testimony began today in the John Edwards trial. The former presidential candidate is accused of using his campaign funds to hide his pregnant mistress during his run for the White House in 2008. Dick Brennan is in Greensboro, North Carolina with the latest.
John Edwards had just a quick word for spectators as he arrived at the courthouse with his daughter Kate.
How you doing? I'm okay.
Edwards faces 6 criminal counts accusing him of violating campaign finance laws to conceal his extramarital affair with a videographer. Both sides gave their opening statements, with the prosecution saying Edwards accepted nearly $1 million in illegal donations. The money paid for Real Hunter's travel, hotels, and medical care when she got pregnant.
Edwards' attorneys argue that the money was a gift, and since it never went into the candidate's campaign account, it could not have violated any campaign finance laws.
In fact, Edwards says he didn't know about the money. It was his campaign aide Andrew Young who handled the funds. Young arrived in court to be the first prosecution witness, but legal experts say he could have a credibility problem. For a while, he pretended to be the father of Hunter's baby, and he may have broken the law when he contacted other witnesses to ask about their testimony.
This case is so much about both what Andrew Young is saying versus what John Edwards is saying, and it's that battle of credibility.
Edwards initially denied the affair. When it was exposed, it ended his political career, and it turned public opinion against him as his wife Elizabeth lost her battle with cancer. The defense is expected to call Edwards' mistress to testify, but attorneys say they haven't decided whether to put Edwards himself on the stand. The stakes are high, a possible 30 years in prison if he's convicted. In Greensboro, North Carolina, Dick Brennan for CBS News.
An April snowstorm is giving thousands in the Northeast one last blast of winter. Duarte Geraldino has the latest from Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Wheels are spinning on icy roads in Patton, Pennsylvania. A rare April nor'easter is dumping snow and rain from Maine to Virginia.
This is supposed to be springtime.
I know, and it's not.
In Johnstown, Pennsylvania, residents are digging out and longing for last week's unseasonably warm weather.
I can't believe, the middle of April we're getting the snow. It's ridiculous.
6, 8 inches, 10 inches. That's a lot of snow to get in April.
The wet, heavy snow is weighing down tree branches. That's bringing down power lines. Electricity is out for about 50,000 customers in Pennsylvania and western New York. Marge Gilmore is keeping her fingers crossed at her convenience store.
We'll be here unless the power goes out.
In Rochester, New York, one surfer traded in his snowsuit for a wetsuit, taking advantage of the high surf on Lake Ontario. Forecasters expect the waves and the weather to turn milder later in the week. Duarte Geraldino, CBS News, Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, including how you can protect yourself during the upcoming tick season, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Courtney.
With a look at sports. So Dustin, the softball team was at home this weekend. The baseball team was away. We had a lot of mixed reviews.
That's right, Courtney. Softball team had a lot of momentum going into this weekend series after a big win Thursday night, and the baseball team had been struggling a lot and really needed some positive outcomes this weekend. I'll get into those stories and more right now. The Trojans were coming off an impressive victory over the Florida State heading into this weekend's conference series. After taking both games with a doubleheader on Saturday against Middle Tennessee, Danielle Percival shows us the Trojans were looking to make it a clean sweep on Sunday.
Trojan fans came prepared with brooms in hand to cheer on Troy to a series sweep. And for the first time this season, the Trojans were able to sweep a conference series. But it took not one, not two, but 3 extra innings to do so, with Troy winning 6-5 in 10 innings.
These kids always give us plenty of excitement. They came out and put some runs on the board, hit the ball really well, and took the lead on us a couple of different times, and I'm really pleased with how our girls came back from behind. Not only when we were down 3-0, but then when we were down in the bottom of that inning, down 5-3.
Ashley Rainey picked up the win for Troy, but it wasn't just her effort on the mound that helped the Trojans seal the victory.
Just can't say enough about how big that home run was by Ashley Rainey. She's still working to grow as a hitter, but has such natural power and just is an amazing hitter. If we can just get her a little more game experience and a little more confidence, she'll have a great career with us with the bat.
But the star with the bat Sunday was Hayden Gann. Gann won a perfect 5 for 5 at the plate and part of a season-high 19 hits by the Trojans.
Hayden's been a little inconsistent lately, and we came in this morning, looked at some film, give her credit for making not major adjustments, but some balance and weight shift adjustments. It really worked well for her. She hit the ball hard all day.
The Trojans have now won 5 in a row and are 10-9 in conference play. Reporting from the Troy Softball Complex, Danielle Percival, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The Trojans returned to action Wednesday night when they traveled to Tuscaloosa to face the Crimson Tide. Wednesday's game is scheduled to begin at 6. And extra innings didn't go as well for the Trojan baseball team as they dropped the rubber match against Western Kentucky on Sunday. A walk-off single by Devin Kelly in the 10th lifted the Hilltoppers over the Trojans 6-5 Sunday afternoon in Bowling Green. The Trojans were down going into the 8th, but tied the game at 5 with 3 runs and an RBI single by Logan Pierce and a 2-run double by Danny Collins. Thomas Austin took the loss on the mound, allowing 1 run on 2 hits with 5 strikeouts and 2 walks in the final 5 innings of the game. Coach Bobby Pierce talks about how his team showed great determination in the Western Kentucky series.
Hard-fought, disappointing series loss on the road to Western Kentucky, but I do feel like we competed well as a team, and something certainly to look forward to as we go down the stretch of our conference season.
Troy returns to Riddle Pace Field for a 5-game homestand this week. The Trojans play host to Auburn on Tuesday and Alabama A&M on Wednesday before a 3-game series against Florida Atlantic over the weekend. And the 2012 Men's Sunbelt Golf Championship teed off this morning. The 11-team tournament will take place at the Fighting Joe's Golf Course at Muscle Shoals. The Trojans entered the tournament with the 4th best scoring average in the league at 293.43. This will be the last tournament for Troy senior Ricky Casco. Casco is the leading scorer on the team and ranks 4th in the Sun Belt. Number 47 Middle Tennessee heads into the tournament as the highest ranked team in the conference. The Blue Raiders are led by Hunter Green, who holds all scoring averages of 71.80. And last but not least, let's show a little love to the Troy Rodeo team. This was the 2nd straight week of competition for the men's and women's team. This week, the team traveled to Cinnabato, Mississippi, which resulted in 2 fifth-place finishes for both the men's and women's teams on Saturday. In the calf roping competition, freshman Nelson White finished 3rd with 100 total points and placed 2nd with average time of 22.1 seconds. In the team competition, Zach Marby and Lane Taylor finished in 5th position with 50 points and placed 5th with an average time of 22.8 seconds. And the women's team received a majority of their points from the barrel racing event, which was led by Brittany Drawdy, who finished with 100 points. Drawdy finished 2nd in average time with 30.46 seconds. The rodeo team will complete their final season event in Central Tone, Arkansas, with competition beginning April the 26th and wrapping up on April the 28th. Will, Courtney, Tiffany, big game tomorrow night here at Riddle Pace Field as the Troy baseball team will get a rematch and get a chance to get revenge against Auburn here tomorrow at 6. So everybody needs to show up and come attend and help the Trojans pull it through.
Definitely needs to. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
Still to come on Trojan Vision, Troy's Johnson Center for Political Economy helps people get a better understanding of economic issues. Find out how in today's Trojan Talk.
Plus, many of us were snapped back into reality this morning as surprising chilly temperatures and high winds met us at the door. How long will this late April chill last? Derica?
Well, Courtney, you can see it pretty much the rest of the night, but the week remains great. I have more next on weather.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And for a look at weather, here's Derica James.
So Derica, last week was a combination of warm weather and then lots of rain. Should we be expecting, since it was cooler today, should we be expecting more rain, or what should we expect?
Well, only today is going to really be chilly for us. The rest of the week seems great, but I'll get into that later. First, let's look at our campus snapshot. As we see it, the sun is already kind of setting here in Troy, on Troy University's campus, but it's still nice to go out and enjoy the cool weather. Just make sure you have a jacket on hand. As we look at our current condition, we see skies are clear, temperature coming at 63 degrees, dew points at 28, humidity at 27, barometers at 29.90 inches and falling, with winds coming from the northwest at 20 miles per hour. Today's stats, high 64, low 37. There was no rain today. Sunrise at 6:05 a.m. The sun should set around 7:18 p.m. As we look at temperatures around the state, as you can see, looking all around the state of Alabama, the temperatures are mostly in the low 60s to mid 60s, with Mobile coming in at highs at 69. As we look at the southeast, we see those temperatures are pretty much staying consistent, with mostly in the 60s and the low 70s across the southeast. As we look to the west, however, we see that they're having some nice temperatures right now, what we're usually seeing at this time. They're seeing some 80-degree and 70-degree weather. But over in the New England area, they're actually experiencing some low 50s and 40s. So as we look at temperature change over the last 24 hours, we see there's a big increase in the west, but a decrease in the southeast. And as you can see, we're normally seeing very high temperatures in the 70s and 80s, but we're actually seeing about a 12-degree decrease in our temperatures. As we look at current surge, we see over in the west, they're having a stationary front coming through, giving those nice cool temperatures, but looking closer to our area, we see a high pressure system and this cold front that just moved out of our area that gave us those cold temperatures that we came to see today. As we look into Tuesday's forecast, we see not too much going on. The rain system sitting off to the north of us possibly, and windy conditions passing on through into the Georgia area. As we look at Wednesday, we see that we also should remain clear with rain systems again to the north of us, but the windy conditions are off to the west of us. As we look onto Thursday, our area should still remain clear, but as you can see, the northern part of Alabama may be experiencing some possible chances of rain. As we go into Friday, those conditions should clear out if you're traveling to the northern part of Alabama, and our area should still remain clear also. As we look into night, clear skies, cool night with light winds coming from the west-northwest at 11 miles per hour with a low of 40. Then as we go into tomorrow's forecast, sunny skies, a high UV index, so make sure you have that sunscreen with light winds coming from the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour with a high of 74. Then as you see tomorrow, starting off your day, you're going to need that jacket because it's getting up to 44 degrees, but by the end of the day, it's 72 degrees, which you can go out and enjoy that nice walk. As we look at our 4-day forecast, we see that next week, there are no possibilities of a chance of rain, so you can get out and enjoy. So rain conditions are not looking nice. So as you can see, this week it's going to be pretty nice. As we saw last week, all those rain conditions this week, there's not really much of a possibility of those rain conditions coming back.
Well, it's nice to see those temperatures increasing. Thank you, Derica.
Thank you.
Thanks.